Welcome to the Flora podcast, a place where we help you create a life you're excited about. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm Flora, and today we're going to talk about why nobody has the same 24 hours. If you're new to my channel, I'm Flora. I've been helping people for over 25 years align into a life and a business that they're wildly obsessed with by helping them clear the 9 types of clutter keeping you from a life that you love. So what are those 9 types of clutter? They are mental, spiritual, emotional, digital, financial, daily, body, process, and environmental clutter. Now, environmental clutter is the stuff that most people think clutter is. Today, we are going to talk about clearing some of that mental and emotional clutter. When I hear the phrase, everybody has the same 24 hours, my skin just crawls because that is absolutely not true. That is absolutely false information that is causing everybody that isn't successful to feel like shit or who isn't making the progress that they think they should be making. I want you to think about a single mom working 2 jobs and her 24 hours. Now I want you to think about someone like myself who is an empty nester who works from home, who has her own company. Our 24 hours are not the same. Yes, they're the same 24 clock hours, but actual hours in the day are not the same. So we do not have the same 24 hours. I want you to think about something that you've tried to accomplish over the last couple of years and haven't been successful at. You've tried, you're just like, oh my gosh. And I probably shouldn't even use the word successful, okay? Because success looks and feels different for everyone. So let's reword that and say, what's something that you've been trying to accomplish or see results in over the last couple of years, and you haven't gotten those results that you've thought that you should get by now? And let's just say that you follow someone online and they're getting all these massive results and you're like, what the hell? Why am I not getting these results? I want you to think about what their 24 hours might look like. I want you to look at what your 24 hours have looked like in the past. This is one of the reasons why I help people clear out the clutter that are keeping you from a life that you love, because sometimes it's clutter that's keeping you stuck, not just how intentional you are. Some people are wasting a lot of time and they're not intentional. I'm ADHD, so I can get really hella squirrely, trust me, okay? Last week, we spoke about the 10-minute quick clean and that 10-minute method. And I invented this with my kids to help us all stay focused and say, okay, we're gonna stay focused. We're gonna get the house clean, let's do this. And that not only helped me keep my house in order, but it also helped me with my studying when I was in college. It helps me with my projects through work and my company. It literally helps me with everything because I am squirrely. I have ADHD. So allowing myself to say, I can very much have an entire day where I do not get anything accomplished if I'm not intentional. What I've done is just wasted those 24 hours. Truly. Time can either be invested or wasted. I've got a whole podcast about that. I'll link it in the comments below. If you think about how intentional you've been, be honest with yourself. In looking at the daily clutter that we have, the first thing is, again, kind of going back to that emotional stuff. What's the emotional piece that you're holding on to? Get really honest with yourself about how intentional you're being throughout your day. Are you getting squirrely? Are you going down a rabbit hole of social media, coming out of it 2 hours later saying, shit, I just wasted 2 hours of my day? Or do you know that about yourself and you go in and you set time limits for when you can access your social media apps and say, okay, so I know I have more focus and more mental capacity going on in the morning. I want to study and learn French or German or Spanish every single day for the next 3 months. And I want to try to learn a new language. be very intentional about it and utilize those 24 hours that you have by being intentional, recognizing when you're more focused and saying, I'm going to use this time for this. Now, you can set all the goals that you want. You can set all the intentions that you want. But again, if you're not focused on what phase of life am I in and what are my priorities in this phase of life, you might not be seeing results because you're focused on the wrong thing. Because what you think your priorities are not really what they are. I'll give you an example. I had a client of mine come in and she was talking to me how she's like, I really want my focus to be on remodeling my house and getting all this stuff done. But I'm so tired all the time. And I'm just like, okay, so run through your schedule with me. Well, she was a full-time student and she just had a baby and her grandmother was living with her at the time. And so I said, okay, so should remodeling really be a priority right now? And she goes, well, yeah, because we're having Christmas and blah, blah, blah at the house. And I'm just like, hang on. Does your family love you? She's like, well, yeah, what kind of a question is that? I said, are they going to love you less if your house is not remodeled for Christmas? And she's like, well, no, but I want it to look really good. And I said, well, is it finished? Like, do you have a finished home or is it like literally in mid-build? She goes, oh no, we live in a completely built house. And I was like, okay, what if you focus on being a good mom to your baby by having the good sleep that you need, having the good nutrition, being focused on personal health, personal self-care, and then also focusing on your grandmother and focusing on your studies? Wouldn't your energy be better spent with that? Well, yeah, but I see all these people online and they're all remodeling and doing all these. I said, okay, so have you ever heard the phrase, comparison is the thief of all joy? And she's like, oh my God, say that again. And I said it again. And she's like, this is so good. She's like, I'm totally going to frame this and put it up in my house. And she did that. And she completely shifted how she utilized the 24 hours that she had in her day. She relaxed into being a student. She relaxed into being a new mom. She relaxed into having a multi-generational home. And she allowed herself to clear through all of that clutter, that mental and the emotional clutter that was really clogging up her space. We all have the same 24 clock hours, but we do not have the same 24 hours in a day. Because that single mom that's working 2 or 3 jobs just to keep food on the table and to keep a roof over their heads does not have the same time as someone who's an empty nester who has no kids, no animals, and a business. They also don't have the same amount of time as someone who has a partner where they both have jobs. Maybe they have a nanny. Everyone's situation is different. Everyone has a different 24 hours. Allow yourself some grace when you're going into your day and when you're going into creating that intentional life. One of the most important things about this is to truly recognize what phase of life you're in. And some of you might be in the phase where you're just done. You're like, I'm so done. I'm so sick of my shit. I'm sick of hitting a wall. I'm sick of feeling overwhelmed. I just want some guidance. I just want to know what to do next. If you're at that point, if you're at that breaking point, click the link in the show notes. Let's talk. I do have 2 spots available for private coaching. Click the Align Your Life link. Let's talk. This is one of the things that will help you shift into that space of empowerment, shift into that space of feeling intentional, so that when you have and you look at your 24 hours that you have personally, you can curate a perfect 24-hour cycle for you that is intentional, where you will get and see results for you, your life, and your priorities. So click the link in the show notes. Let's talk. Remember, all it takes is a clear vision of what you want and the willingness to take a small 1-degree shift every single day in that direction to create and have and align into a life that you love. I hope this serves you, and I will see you in the next episode. Thank you for listening to today's podcast episode. All links mentioned are in today's show notes.